Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Di. What we're going to do today is a quick and simple bread and butter pudding. Delicious, especially on a cold winter's night. And I'm going to do a little variation to it, which if you followed my channel, you'll know that I vary a lot of recipes, but it's mainly what the family's tastes are. So in this recipe, we would normally use raisins or sultanas, but I'm also going to throw in some cranberries, dried cranberries, because my grandson absolutely loves it. Okay, let's get on with it. So these are the things that we're going to be using. We're going to use eggs, bread. There's sultanas in that container there. That is caster sugar, milk. Got the cranberries down there, dried cranberries, butter, and we need an oven-proof dish, which I will grease, and I'll put the oven on 160 degrees Celsius, fan forced, while we're preparing this. Now I've greased that dish. This is rather a deep dish. I don't normally use a deep dish as deep as this, but that just means that we're going to have more layers. So it's a bit smaller in size but deeper, so it still probably holds the same quantity that I would normally use. Right, so we're going to cut the crusts off the bread. Now, you can use any bread that you want for this. I'm using a wholemeal loaf, and mostly the traditional one that's used is white bread. So if you wanted to get that fibre in, you can get white bread with fibre in it. So, but this is what I had. This is the bread that I had in the freezer. So I'm not using stale bread, and this is what it was designed for, to use up your stale bread. But I didn't have stale bread. I keep my bread in the freezer, so I don't usually have stale bread. You can also make this with fruit loaf, or at Easter, if you've got leftover hot cross buns, you can use it. Or if you, at Christmas, you have one of those Italian bread sort of cake things, what are they called? Panettone? Or panettone, I don't know how to say it. It's also good to use that as well if they're left over, and you can, even if it's stale, just stick it in the freezer until you're ready to use it. Get it out, defrost it, and then you make your pudding. So once we've done that with the bread, just move all that out the way, we'll butter our bread. Now I've made this without buttering it. I don't think that you need butter except on the top layer. That's how I used to make it, but I'm just trying to show you how it's normally done. This is the traditional way. All the layers are buttered. So we'll butter all our bread, and then we'll come back. Okay, all that bread is buttered, and I like to cut mine into triangles. That's just how I like to do it. Other people would cut it that way. I've seen it done that way, but I just like to cut mine into triangles. So we're just doing that now. So we're just going to be layering this into our dish. So that works out well doing it in the triangles, because I can put it in a layer like that into the bottom. Now, it depends if you like your desserts very sweet or not. So in between each layer, we're just going to sprinkle some fruit. So So that's the dried cranberries and some sultanas. Now you can use as little or as much as you like, but I just say a sprinkling like that, just so you can see it better. And then I would say that this is a dessert spoon and just a sprinkling of sugar over the top. So don't heap it up, don't use too much because we're going to put some in every single layer. Now what I'll do, I'll make sure that my layers cover up the gaps from the layer before. So we're just layering it a little bit differently. There we go. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We've got our sultanas and some cranberries and some sugar. Okay, so that's our last layer. Now we're going to do the top part. So with the top, I'll cut those pieces of bread even smaller. So they were halved before, now I'm quartering them. Now, what I like to do here is to build it up. There we go. I'll just need to butter, oh no, I don't need to butter some more bread. It's already buttered. And there we have it. So that's all done. Now the last layer we'll sprinkle with sugar. Now we'll put a little bit more sugar on this one because we want it, when it goes into the oven, for that sugar to make a nice crispy, crackly top. And I didn't get it out, but I need to get nutmeg. So we'll just sprinkle over the top with nutmeg. If you don't like nutmeg, you don't have to use nutmeg. Nutmeg is what would normally be put on top. but you might want to use cinnamon if you don't like nutmeg. And I'm just about out of nutmeg by the looks of things. Okay. Okay, there we have it. Now we have to put our custard mixture on. The ratio for our custard mixture is we use 4 eggs, we beat them up, and then we add milk to bring it up to 1 litre. So we're not adding a litre of milk, we're bringing liquid up to equal 1 litre. So I'm just breaking 4 eggs into my jug. I'll whisk those. That's right, they're whisked nice and thoroughly. I'll add part of the milk. I'll whisk them again. And this jug is a litre jug, so there we go. A little bit of milk left, and it wasn't full when I started. So we're just making that to the litre. Oops. Now that's the ratio that you would use for a lot of things if you're making an egg custard. So if you just wanted to get that and put it into a ramekin, just that mixture there, sit it into a water bath and bake that in the oven with some nutmeg on top, and then you would add a little bit of sugar to it as well. You have a baked custard. So it's a good ratio to remember. Just 4 eggs, beat them up, add milk until it reaches 1 litre, and there you have it. I also use that for making a custard tart, the same ratio. So I'm just pouring this in very slowly, just so that I don't disturb too much the sugar and the nutmeg on top. And I'm just watching the sides there, how far it's coming up. So that's come right up to the top there. I've got some left. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of baked custard. I'll add a little bit of sugar to that, put it in a ramekin, and I'll bake that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to leave that sitting for a little while. We want that bread to soak up that liquid. So I'll let that happen over about the next 20 minutes to half hour. I won't do anything with this because I may need to top this up. I'll see how that goes, and we'll come back when that's soaked in. Now, one thing I didn't mention, all those crusts that I cut off, they're not going to go to waste. I'm going to put them on a baking tray. They're going to go in the oven with this. They're going to dry right out, and then I'm going to put them in the blender in my NutriBullet and make breadcrumbs out of them. So if you saw me cutting all that off and thought, oh, what a waste, no, nothing gets wasted. And even the eggshells will be going in my compost. So nothing gets wasted. So there we have our tray of crusts to make our breadcrumbs from. So that's been about 20 minutes now, and it has gone down just a little bit, but I won't put any more in there because I don't want it bubbling over. Now I've got, I just had a little bit of milk left in that bottle, so I put the milk into my jug and I added an extra egg, and I put 2 tablespoons of sugar in there and beaten that all up. So I've got these ramekins sitting in this container here, which is filled with water. It's halfway up, and that's just to make sure that they don't cook too quickly. And all of the sugar hasn't dissolved, it's down the bottom, so I'm just scraping that in. And luckily I had a spare nutmeg, so we can put the nutmeg on top. And there we go. 2 desserts made very, very quickly. And we're going to also have some breadcrumbs. So we didn't quite use a loaf of bread, probably about 2/3 of a loaf of bread in there, but it just depends on the size of the container that you're using. As I said, those ratios are 4 eggs beaten, and then top it up so that the liquid measures 1 litre. Top it up with milk. Okay, let's cook it and come back. And there we have it. There's our baked egg custard. There's our jar of breadcrumbs. And unfortunately, my oven got a little bit too hot and one side of it got really burnt. With my oven, you've really got to watch it. And I do have a temperature gauge hanging in there, but I wasn't on the ball today. I didn't go and double check it once it was heated up. So I'll just pull those bits off the top. But most of it's all right. Let's just show it from that angle. There. Not too bad. Anyway, I'll serve it up and let you have a look at what it looks like. So let's serve it up from this side here where it's not burnt. I'll take that. It's nice and hot, and all that fruit you can see has plumped up. So it's really, really nice. When it's hot, it's nice and soft. It'll firm up more when it cools. So that looks absolutely delicious and it smells great. I hope you give it a try. Leave me a comment if you do. Let me know how you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.